Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Speedway Five-1 show. Tonight my guest is a returning guest. We spoke about a lot in his early career and also leading up to his biggest moment in Speedway, winning the World Championship in 1992. We spoke in depth about a few of the races and also the crash before the huge thunderstorm of that 92 World Final. Tonight we're going to look on from 93 to up until, unfortunately, the accident that cut my guest's career short and probably what he wanted. So please welcome back to the 5-1 show, Gary Havelock.
How are you doing, everyone? How are you doing, Neil?
We're all good, mate.
Thanks for having me back.
yeah, good to have you back, mate. More than anything, it's nice to get another part of the story.
No problem.
So then, as I said in my intro, we're looking at 93. Obviously, that was the year it was the defending of your crown and everything. So talk us through those sort of early stages of that season, if you remember much of it. Was it a busy sort of start to the year with trying to find sponsors and things like that?
No, not so much as doing a lot of PR stuff, you know. And before you know it, it's like I remember getting home from Poland after I won it. Literally, I'd put the phone down because it was landlines back then, and you could literally go 1, 2, 3, and it would ring again for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like when you want champion, everyone wants a piece of you, you know. And I think if you talk to probably a lot of world champions, they'd say the same thing. You know, all of a sudden you've gone from being completely focused on one thing to being all over the place and all, you know. And I probably, you know, looking back, probably took me out of the ball a little bit, but you know, I think it's still not a bad year, you know. It just it was weird because like when I got to Poland for 92, it was just weird. Everything just felt right. And then when I got to Germany in 93, it just it didn't feel wrong. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it did the year before. It was like, oh. But the track was different. I think Hans was lying the lay down as well, wasn't he? I think was Hans lying the lay down, maybe.
Yeah, he was. He was on the lay down. I think it was him and a couple of others.
When you know, the way the track was really grippy, that suited them the way they lay down sort of ride, you know. But even though Sam went on a upright, he had 4 wins, and then he took his he put that bike in the van, and then he went out on his spare bike in his last race.
Yeah, I think I remember the
bike that goes in the Parc Fermé after the meeting and gets stripped down.
Yeah, that special engine was hidden away.
You know, yeah, it was in the van, mate. But no, it was. Did we win the Knockout Cup with Bradford that year?
Yeah, I think you did. I
know we won it like 5 times in 7 years, or 4 times in 6 years, or something like that, in the early 90s. But yeah, from like I said, from what I can remember, it was the all right season. You know, it just wasn't. I just wasn't as finely honed, should we say?
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, everybody wants a piece of you. You know, everybody wants you to do something, and you know it's difficult not to do it. You know, when I'm trying to raise the profile of the sport, you know, I could try to do everything I could PR wise. You know, as far as I was concerned, it was like I'm of the massive belief that there's such thing as bad publicity. You know, and back then, you know, early 90s, we needed all the publicity we could get.
Yeah, because unfortunately, at that time, that was the year of the pay cut, the pay structure, if I remember rightly, of 93. When then obviously clubs were bringing in sponsors to sort of balance the books in some cases. But I mean, I remember watching a couple of DVDs back. I think a lot of it was at Coventry. I remember watching, I think it was like the last meeting of the season at Coventry where you were there, and you had a slight altercation, I think, with Jakob Olsen down the back straight, where he decided to sort of. I think it was a case of you were there, he knew you were there, sort of thing. And next thing you know,
get out the way.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But I mean, obviously, the domestic front was great for Bradford. Like you say, win the Knockout Cup, great thing to do. Also, you were in the England team that year in the World Team Cup at Coventry. What are sort of your memories of that sort of that meeting? I mean, I've got a clip of it I can show in a bit, but what are your sort of memories?
I don't have very good memories of that meeting at all, to be honest. Did we do rubbish?
Yeah, we came last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it. I tend to Tend to blot out the really bad meetings.
Well, that's fair enough because you look at the positive in everything, really. So
yeah.
because that was the meeting that
How did I do?
I think I think you were second highest score or something like that with like 5 points. I think screen top score was like with about 6. So, but that was the meeting I think where you had yourself, Joe, Chris Louis, Martin, and Kelvin Tate on the team. So that on paper that's a really strong team for that time. It's just a shame that
around Coventry.
Yeah, around the old shape Coventry anyway. So, I mean, it was a bit of a surprise. I mean, looking back at it, I was a bit surprised you didn't have like Wiggy or something like that one in the team, maybe, because maybe that might have just swung a few more points your way. Because obviously he was at Coventry at the time.
Was he? Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's 93. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Tend to remember the highlights from back
then. That's fair enough. I mean, I understand that's understandable. But I mean, I'm gonna see if something works. See if you can see this and see if it works. I'm going to show you a clip of that meeting.
We had a bit of trouble with clips the other night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I don't know if hopefully this is going to work tonight.
The screen's gone black anyway, so.
Oh, it's in the middle of swapping everything over, I think.
Yeah, let's started screen sharing.
Yeah, all right. Hopefully this will work in a minute. It's a bit slow, my laptop, unfortunately, at the moment, but hopefully it will
Pinch
work.
out for a bigger view. All right, yeah, here we go.
That's it. There you go. So, right, this is again
I can see a tractor.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing we want to be looking at. Hopefully it will start playing in a minute and sort of go from here. All right. Yeah, so there's you and Martin. Look at the track and everything.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's one of those meetings I remember as I've got older. That it's one of those meetings, unfortunately, which was one of the sort of the bad times in British League. I think so we had home track advantage and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
probably had home track advantage, and the track was probably the way the Danes liked it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was America who won that day. It was America.
It was America. Okay. All right.
But that was the obviously. What was it? It would have been so. I think the Swedes were there as well. Obviously, the Danes were there. But just things like that. And I mean, I think I could find. I might be able to fast forward it a little bit, and you might be able to see the one race, which was the best race, was when you won it. I think it was.
Okay.
If I can get that far, I don't know if it's going to let me. When Tommy won a race, obviously, I think, but yeah, we had in the pits as well that day, so you had a lot of good people around at the time.
Yeah.
Is this bringing back any memories at all?
Yeah. It is indeed.
Yeah. But, in the old zebra leathers. So what was the old story behind the zebra leathers? And anything in particular?
It was just obviously in '92 in the World Final, I was the first speed rider ever to wear a set of Kevlars.
Yeah.
And obviously with the Kevlars, they're printed rather than stitched, so you could have anything on there you want. You know what I mean? So I was just experimenting with stuff. I thought zebra would look quite good,
What makes you stand out anyway?
Yeah, I don't know, me. I was like to be different.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is your race. I think, which is the race. Is
the race I win?
I think it is. Yeah.
Gate 2.
Yeah, with Greg on your inside, I think it is, and John Augustin and Peter Carlson.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, it's when you get down behind the old handlebars and things like that. So.
Yeah.
Doing the old aerodynamics.
I think it was. I think it was somebody like Mike Patrick, the old photographer, was put something on Facebook not so long back about everyone going on about smiles like the way like riders, puts his head down and his ass back over the back of the mud guard down the straights. And he put. He wasn't the first one to do that, and he put a picture of me at the World Final doing it.
Yeah, we're one of the famous photos of you racing down. I think one of the straights and everything, But yeah.
Nice view from the bar there with a couple of pints of lager.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, so it's that was the highlight of the day. Yeah.
Woohoo! Well, get that off now then.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Just
Like, I want a race, get it? I want a race.
But yeah, it's I just thought it'd be nice thing just to sort of show, because obviously,
Yeah, definitely.
nice little bit of racing there. But yeah, hopefully this is going to work back to normal now.
Shame my daughter's gone out. We'd be pretty sure there with my long hair and looking like really young, because everybody says she looks like me, like facially she's really similar to me. So.
Oh, okay.
When they do that, on the other phone when you could swap your faces.
Oh yes,
We
yes.
did ours, and we didn't look any different.
Oh yeah, well that's cool. But yeah, so obviously that is a bit of a clip of say the '93 World Cup final and everything. Were they the sort of occasions that you liked riding for England? Then was it any sort of like a Test match or a World Cup?
Anything,
like that,
anything. To me, it was the biggest honor a sportsman can get. Pull it on your national jersey. Your national body colour. That's just. It's like when it was around about the time when Wiggy and Kelvin stopped riding for England, because a lot of the Test matches were on Sunday and that. And they were getting a load of money going out riding long track on a Sunday in Germany. So, but to me, it was like, I can't believe that he would. To me, I would have paid to ride for England. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime. I think I was lucky enough to ride for England at 70 or 80 times, and I think quite a lot of them I was captain as well. Which again, when I say there's no bigger honour than pulling on your national jersey, there is one, and that's captain in your national side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
There's my phone ringing. Leave it.
Leave that. Yeah. But I say the only thing I think really missing from your CV was basically the World Team Cup gold medal. You pretty much won near enough everything else in Speedway, and obviously again England captain, England regular for so long. It's just that one gold medal that's not in your trophy cabinet.
Yeah. And the pairs.
Oh, and the
lost the pairs on the freaking toss of a coin, didn't we? Get position at Lonigo in '92. Had a run off.
Yeah,
How's that right? You have 6 rides each, right? All in pairs, right? And you end up on the same points, and you've got all the one rider run off. One rider from each pair. What's that about? Surely it should be the pair against the pair. Yeah.
I think it's other people in charge of the FIM, wasn't it, at the time? So people like
such is life. Yes.
Yeah, I think that was
such is life. So yeah, I only managed silver then. I got silver. I think I think I had second in the World Team Cup a couple of times.
Yeah.
Third as well in Sweden, which and then I've got 2 gold medals, the under-21s and the World Championship, and then I've got 2 or 3 silver medals, and then I've got 2 bronze or 1 bronze.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah,
it's all right, isn't it?
That's not bad. So I mean, and again, that's all competitions as well, isn't it? So it's not just like you've won it individually, anything like that. So
yeah,
but
not bad for a lad.
No, it's good though. I mean, it's I completely forgot about the runoff in the Nego, because obviously that was against Greg. I think it was, because obviously USA won that year.
Greg,
yeah, and Greg was the reserve as well that day.
Basically, yeah, he was. Yeah, basically, it was the toss of the coin because Lonigo was so friggin' wide. But and it was like, because it was only 2 with the runoff, it was inside or outside. So basically, gate 1 was just such an advantage, and lost the toss of the coin, lost the gate positions, lost it. I feel 90% sure that if they wouldn't have tossed the coin, we'd have beat Greg.
Yeah,
because I was all over him like a rash, but still shoe come off. So I was like 2 laps to still shoe. And I was still all over him like a rash. Like he didn't leave me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna beat him if I got out to start.
Yeah,
no. I didn't. That's life.
Yeah, but it's still like I said, got a 3rd in Kumla, in the World Team Cup. On a very, whoever rightly watching the meeting, it's a very rough and deep track that was that day.
It was, it was.
Yeah, because I remember, I think Sam Lenko had the back straight fence at one point in one race. And
oh yeah, one of the Danes picked up and just let his bike go, didn't he?
Yeah,
slammed him into the fence.
Yeah, I remember that sort of thing. But no, that was a good team, because I think you had yourself, Kelvin again, Martin, Screeney, and Mark Laram in the team at the time. So a great team again on paper, and a team that obviously progressed really well.
Yeah. We did all right. It was difficult back then to have enough good riders to really make a difference. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe it's like the Danes and the Yanks at the time, they probably had 4 world-class riders, you know what I mean? Like really world-class riders. Whereas we probably only had 2, you know what I mean? Even though like Screedy and Mark, definitely world-class riders, but, you know, you think back in 92, 93, they were still quite young, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always difficult, but hey, you get what you deserve, don't you? So I guess we give it our best shot, and that's what we got.
Yeah,
got a silver in that was got silver in Pardubice as well in the World Team Cup.
Yeah, that's it, 1990.
I don't know what year that was. Was that 1990? Was it?
Yeah, because that was
got a better memory than me.
well, I did my research. I mean,
Big
even
style.
that, I mean, big style. Yeah. Well, obviously 93. I mean, looking at what I've got here, so you only managed to ride in the UK. You didn't ride in Sweden or Poland that year.
No.
I think you stayed at home just to concentrate on the British League and obviously the World Final and everything. So
yeah. Well, with the extra stuff going on, you know, I just didn't. I didn't really get any really good offers. You know, I got a couple of offers, but they were, you know, they weren't what I wanted. So.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. What Poland Sweden lost down that year is what England gained them, really, by having you here all year round. You know, going to every meeting, you know, and that sort of thing. But I do remember the road to the World Final for yourself wasn't an easy road. I think you had a good British semi-final. You just qualified for the British final, I think it was, or you came runners up. I think because Andy Smith won it that year, '93. And then the overseas final you scraped through, I think it was, and then you got through comfortably in the semi-final. So
where was the semi-final?
I don't. It was either Vetlanda or it was somewhere else. I can't remember what the other one was. But
Vetlanda definitely wasn't Vetlanda. I didn't.
It might have been an Ego or something like that. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Not Ego. Yeah, not Ego.
Yeah, which seems to be your second favourite track.
That rings a bell. That rings a bell. I like not Ego. It was a great track. It was so wide. It was just crazy wide. In fact, it was that wide that on the pits corner. There's like it was like grass started to grow on the outside, between the end of the track and the fence. So
because
it was great that because you know if you get into trouble that you're not going to slam in the fence, you time to ride it out. You know.
Yeah, you could bring back that old grass tracking sort of expertise and go out really wide and use the grass. But
not.
But I remember watching the '96 Grand Prix series, which we'll come on to again in a bit, and seeing the grass on the outside. And I think at the time I only just widened it because the FIM told me to widen it. I think it was something like that, something stupid. But I don't know. I was too young then to remember that sort of thing. But as I say, looking on from the '93 season into '94, you didn't make the last World Final, unfortunately.
No.
I think that was due to an injury. I think you broke your collarbone, maybe, was it?
I did. Yeah.
And you qualified for the British final and everything, and then you broke your collarbone and didn't make it on the overseas. For memory reminds me, I think something like that.
I think I tried riding with the broken collarbone, didn't I? And just like maybe only did like one ride and pulled out or something like that.
Yeah. I think you managed to win the first race, and then you sort of struggled after that. Then.
Okay. Yeah, shit happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like I said, two things that will slow you down in Speedway. One is the wrong woman. And number two is excess hospital food.
Well, yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, you've been unlucky with the injuries before your arm injury, so. But So was that at Bradford then, or something like that you had that crash in, or was it somewhere else then?
I think it might have been like Ipswich or something like that.
Okay.
And I remember breaking my collarbone at Ipswich. I think it probably was there. Yeah.
Do you remember much of the crash at all?
No, I think it was just the first bend jobber, you know what I mean? That was on the outside, and it was the old Ipswich when it was really narrow still. And there was no air fence. I think I snapped one. They had like wooden, like two wooden posts holding the fence up. I think I snapped one of them with collarbone.
Yeah, unfortunately those things don't give. So, but no, I mean, even with '94, I mean, I don't think you did that. Bradford did well in that year, I think, but they didn't win anything. So that was the last, because the following year you won the KO Cup in '95. When it was the one big league, you know.
Yes.
You know, I mean, what are your sort of memories of it coming to one big league? Was that
I
something that you wanted?
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I thought it was great. You know, I was going to Bellevue thinking 5 times each season. You know, we were going to all these different tracks, and the fact that these different tracks we were going to obviously were Division 2 tracks, National League tracks.
Yeah.
So everywhere we went, we got welcomed like we were like heroes, gods. You know what I mean? Like you go to I don't know, Somerset or somewhere like that. You know what I mean? And they were loving it because all of a sudden you were an established elite league team that was going to an established Premier League, National League team. And it was great. Get around the country and see different tracks and ride different tracks. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But as usual with British Speedway, it's the old one season wonder. And I know that idea wasn't kind of been a very good idea. We'll have to have another idea for this season.
I mean, they tried it for 2 seasons. They did it in '96, but I think a few of the clubs pulled out.
Did they? Okay.
I think a few of the clubs pulled out and went to Conference League, if I remember rightly. I know Arena pulled out because obviously Terry Russell went to the run at Hackney that year, '96.
Yes.
And so Arena, I think, dropped down to Conference League level that year. And things like that. But looking at '95, obviously, again, that was the one big league. You guys won the Knockout Cup, which was obviously great for Bradford. Eastbourne won the league, so we were happy about that as well.
Get down.
And also you were in the Grand Prix series as well. Obviously, the first year of the Grand Prix series.
Yes.
So obviously you didn't qualify for the '94 World Final. Did you get a special invite then to the Grand Prix series then, or is it?
I think I must have. Yeah, I think I must have. Yeah, I don't actually, like you say, I didn't qualify for the '94 World Final because I wasn't in it. So yeah, they must have invited me. Yeah. I always remember after '96 when I was something like joint fourth after 2 rounds, and they brought me back, and never really the rest of the season. And I thought, bound to invite me back, you know.
Yeah. Of course, that '95 was the year of the battle between upright and laydown all season. Obviously, like you say, British Speedway's rule of having just the uprights for '95 didn't really help you guys in the Grand Prix series.
It did not only help us; it actually hindered us. Hindered us because we were riding 2-3 times a week on uprights, and then going to a Grand Prix on a weekend and trying to ride the laydowns.
Yeah,
we had no time on the things, you know. It was a joke. But again, British Speedway, in their wisdom, let's hinder them top lads in the Grand Prix just for our own pocket.
Right, so again, we can see all your trophies again in the background, Harvey. Just before we move on and talk more in depth about the Grand Prix series, I see there's one in particular in the background that is a bit smaller than the other ones. Can you tell us a bit about that one?
That's like a dark red crystal cut glass. And it's was the first ever Edward Yancast Memorial Trophy at Gorzow. It's a big annual individual meeting. It was the first one. I don't know if you know about Edward Yancast, but he was a big hero at Gorzow. He met his end. His wife stabbed him to death in a vodka frenzy.
Yeah, because I've done some research, and because he rode for Wimbledon for so many years, and things like that. And I think it's on the Wimbledon DVD, which Retro Speedway done, and it mentions about what happened to Eddie. But because obviously the stadium at Gorzow is named after Eddie as well. So, but
yes.
To have that in your collection is something.
It is now, and it did. Yeah, definitely, it's a beautiful thing. Try and grab it.
Oh, that's very nice.
See, it's all cut glass and engraved. Red crystal.
Oh, very nice, yeah.
It's got PZM on there and Stahl goes off. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to see.
Yeah, I've got 2 like that. I've got another one from them that they just had engraved and gave me because I won the World Championship as a gift.
Oh, that's cool.
It says like World Champion on it. It's upstairs. It's the same red crystal like that. It's excellent.
Yeah, because obviously at the time you were riding for Gorzow, weren't you, in '92? So nice little memorabilia for yourself there. Yeah. But looking on to the '95 season, '95 and everything, obviously the Grand Prix series and everything was all kicked in. What was your sort of thoughts ahead of the Grand Prix series? Anything that was it a positive for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think I've always been an advocate that you've got to try and keep up with the times. And, you know, I think as good as the Speedway one-off World Final was, you know, I think Ollie Olsen was one of the early protagonists of trying to push for a Grand Prix series. And I think when you look at where the Grand Prix are now, you know, I think they've done a fabulous job. And you know, the way they've took them to big cities and big stadiums, it's phenomenal. And yeah, so like, you know, I've never been against change, and you know, I was keen for it, but like I said, the biggest problem we had was the lay down upright job.
Yeah.
Because
well, which did you prefer then at that time? What did you prefer at that time, the upright or the lay down?
I preferred the upright, and I still do, to be honest. The lay downs are difficult first couple of years, trying to get the carburation right and stuff, and especially those guys who were on GMs, because the lay down Jawas seemed to get the carburation sorted out much quicker. So without the carburation running right, they were like a bit of a dog to ride, you know. And we're trying to really experiment with things in GP practice, and then riding it in the next day, and it, you know, it just you know. Now they've got all the carburation and everything sorted. It's strange, like the laydowns. I don't know if you know or if people know anything about engines, but the way I would describe them is that the upright is like a 4-stroke.
Yeah.
So if you hear a motorbike out on the street, it's like it's a 4-stroke, and if you hear one that's like 2-stroke. Well, 2-strokes, you've got to keep them in the power band all the time, otherwise they're rubbish. And that's a little bit like the laydown. You've got to ride them absolutely flat out and in the top power band. If you don't, they don't produce the power that you need to win. And the good thing about the old uprights, they had what I call old-fashioned torque. They had it right from like 100 revs. Yeah. Whereas with a laydown, they don't start producing that sort of torque and power till you get over 10,000 revs. You know, so different technique, and it was difficult for us guys, I think, especially, you know, the guys now, they just grown up, they don't even know what an upright is. It's like an old-fashioned thing, you know. I think the uprights, they handled better, they rode better, you know, they produced the power in a smoother characteristic. You know, the laydowns is going to be all or nothing. As you can see in the Grand Prix at the moment, a guy will run a junior last, and then he'll go out in his next race, and just because he's got a better gate and made the start, he'll win it by the length of the straight. And it's like,
it is crazy.
It's all about the engines. All about the engines and all about the setups now.
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of the guys.
I always prefer the uprights.
A lot of the guys would not have ridden the uprights who ride nowadays. I think Ty maybe dabbled in it in his junior days of doing 250 or 350, maybe something like that, maybe back in Aussie. But a lot of the guys wouldn't do it. I mean, myself, when I rode, I never rode an upright. I rode a lay down, but I rode on the GCRs. I had one of them.
Oh yeah.
And they were very smooth to ride, but like anything, they sort of they threw your setups out a little bit, because your sprocket was a bit different for the obviously track conditions. But
completely,
But the ride
same with the lay down to the upright. The sprockets, we were talking probably 5 or 6 teeth different from what we would be riding on an upright to what we would ride on a lay down. Crazy.
Yeah. Because I think Mark Laram described it in an interview he did years ago. It was like you started on something like I think it was like 63 at Bradford on an upright or something, and then you went down to like a 59, 58 on the lay down sort of thing. Because obviously with the lay downs they spin more, so you know it's getting to that power to the ground. But But obviously, after that first year of the Grand Prix series. Yeah, after that sort of first year of the Grand Prix series and everything, you know, I think you had a steady year in the series. Obviously, it's just a case of finding your feet in everything in the series. But did you have to go to the Grand Prix Challenge in '95? Did you have to go to the challenge?
I don't know. I can't even remember. I don't remember going. So like maybe I didn't. You know, maybe I didn't. I'm not sure.
No, because
I know I was in it in '96 though.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll move to 96 in a minute, but yeah, because obviously that was the challenge was at the Nego again, and everything.
Okay.
But obviously the last round of the 95 series was at Hackney. I bet that must have been a nice place to come to, riding in London, and everything apart from the rain.
Yeah. Just a shame it. Yeah, it's just a shame it rained and the track was crap. You know what I mean? it was what it was. If I remember rightly, it was if you're off gate 4, you won, and you just stayed on the edge of the dirt.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
I think you are right because again, it was one of those meetings where it was very, very greasy.
Didn't Greg win it? Did Greg win it?
Yeah, Greg did win it. Yeah.
Gate 4. It was definitely gate 4. I remember.
Yeah, but
and it weird. Like one of the biggest things you remember about a Grand Prix is what the best gate was.
Yeah, again, it's those little things that we us as fans always don't know about. Obviously, again, myself as an ex-rider, understand what you're coming from, but it's a case of everyone else doesn't really understand it sometimes. I mean, obviously, people see like at the time Hans or Tony or Billy or Greg come off a certain start, and that's that. But then hearing it from your side is much more interesting, I think. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, but moving on to 96. Again, you're in the Grand Prix series, still with Bradford, and everything. So, what do you remember much about 96 at all? Either in this, apart from obviously having your crash before you had the crash and everything.
Yeah. Well, if we just scroll back a little bit towards the end of '95. I remember Steve Langdon, who was working with Carl Blumfelt at the time.
Yeah.
On Sam Eminento's engines and stuff. I think it was after one of the Grand Prix, one of the last Grand Prix, like the 4th or 5th Grand Prix, and I'd been shit. I was struggling with the laydowns and blah, blah, blah. And I think he said, why don't you give me an engine? Have you got an old engine just sat there holding the door up or something in the workshop? Every rider has one, you know what I mean? And I said, yeah, I have actually. And he said, send it down to me. And it was an upright, obviously because we could only ride uprights at the time. And I think when he sent it back to me, I think I went to Coventry and maxed out on it. And then I won quite a few things towards the end of the season. I was flying on it. And then that's when, in the winter there, we gave Lango and Carl the laydowns. And that's why I started off quite well in '96, because I'd sort of changed engine tuners, and they seemed to get the laydowns going really good.
So who was you with before you went to Carl Blumfelt then?
I'm trying to remember. I think I floated around a couple of people, because after I fell out with Neil Evans in about '93, '94, I think I floated around a couple of people without finding anything decent. And then when Steve Langdon said, give us your engine, Avi, and I got it back and it just flew. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I started giving him me other stuff, and then gave him the laydowns for '96. And that's why I started off half decent.
Of course, in '96, you were able to ride them everywhere, the laydowns, because obviously the British League allowed them to ride and everything, despite the moaning and groaning of it being too fast for the tracks and everything, and stuff like that. Also, you had the silly things of these silly, block tyres you had for '96 in the Grand Prix series.
God, yeah.
I don't know if you...
I don't think we used them. I think we tried them in practice. I remember trying them in practice in the second Grand Prix at Lonigo. And it was just ridiculous. Just coming in the corner and like the thing just wanted to turn inside out.
Yeah.
Just no grip whatsoever. And I think we all said, "Nah, fuck is, we're not riding with them, not a chance."
Yeah.
I think Ollie was trying to push it, and we said, "Right, we'll give it a go on one of our practices, everybody." And we all just come back in and said, "Fuck, no chance. Stick that up here. We're just not using them. We won't use them." It was ridiculous,
Yeah.
One of Ollie's dumber ideas, should we say? He's had a couple of dumb ideas over the years. Let me just
Yeah.
like when he put extra curbs on his track at Voyance. Do you remember that?
Oh right, no, I don't remember that. No.
Meeting at Voyance, a gold bar, and like imagine if like right in the middle of the corner, he put like a V.
Oh,
An extra V of curb, so you're right in the middle of it. It was only about 5 meters wide, about 3 meters wide. And, oh yeah, I'll make loads of lines, and people will have to come in wide and turn back on both corners. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. But you know, he had some good ideas, but he had some crap ones.
Yeah. But well, you know, unfortunately, I think with Ollie, I never met the bloke. I don't know him, but he had some, like I say, really good ideas, and then all of a sudden he thought something needs to change. And it'd be something stupid, tyres, tracks, whatever, you know, helping Thomas Gollob try and get through the consolation final in the Grand Prix, you know, whatever it was.
There you go.
You know,
whatever it is, instead of just worrying about going around the 6 tracks or the 8 tracks or whatever it was the GP, making sure the surface is going to be perfect for the. And like I said before, you know, you get the really, really best riders, right, and you give them a great track to go on, right. 9 times out of 10, they'll produce good racing.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you know, it just shows when they go to Malilla in Sweden and places like that. When the GP, when it used to be in Big Gosh and stuff, you know, it's just phenomenal. You put the top lads, you give them the right conditions, and they'll produce.
Yeah, 100% all the time. I mean, it's just obviously with the new Bellevue, you know, that's produced a lot of good racing.
Again, another track which absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and
you know, it's got everything that's needed for a good track. It's wide, it's big, it's long. Yeah, there's lots of different racing lines, you know.
Yeah,
and then the dirt gets so far out that it almost gets too far out, and then there's another line comes on the inside later on. It's fantastic. It's some brilliant meetings at Bellevue.
Yeah, and I mean,
we're lucky to have it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's thanks to Chris Morton though, and everyone involved in the planning of it. Because obviously, if you look at the track as well, I mean, I'm fortunate enough again to have ridden it. It's a good track to ride. But again, if you're out in front, you got these other blokes all around you. You don't know where to ride. You know, it's you know, things like that.
Yeah. It's hard to defend there, should we say?
Yeah, very much
so. Like coming from fucking everywhere.
I can imagine that was a bit like at Bradford as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you go to places like Leszno in Poland, which is big and wide and banked and fast, and like you get out the gate there and you're just like, that's it. Fucking where they coming, these mad polecats back in the day. Wow. And then one guy, they used to have every team back in the day in Poland, every team had a chopper.
Okay,
you know, like a guy who was just in the team to fucking knock other people off. Now I'm literally not being funny, right? And Leszno's, I forget what Leszno's one was called, and he was a proper hard bastard. And he drilled me that hard going into turn 3, and I managed to stay on. And when they come back in the fits, he got warned by the referee. It's the only time I've ever heard in Polish league, especially then, because there were fucking nutters everywhere, of a rider being warned for dangerous riding, and that he'd be kicked out if he did it again.
Oh, brilliant! That's brilliant.
Good fun. Yeah. I forget his name though. The Leszno one. Yeah, every team had one. Yeah, ask all the boys.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in the future, I'm hoping to get some of the other boys come on the show. I really want to get Screeny on. And things like that. I've spoken to him, but
he's a right miserable bastard.
Well, I don't know.
He is nowadays. He is. He used to be such a good fighter. Now he's a right miserable bastard. Yeah. So busy. So busy.
Yeah.
I'll mention it next time I speak to him.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it.
Trying to think who would come on. Like someone like Stoney, mate, would come on probably like that for you.
Yeah.
You know,
I've got a list of riders, but I haven't managed to get a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because either they don't reply to me saying no, I'm not interested, or they just whatever. You know, but
I think with most speedways, what it is, they get like a text or something from somebody. It's like, if I just ignore it, I won't have to do it. And that's really how, you know. I think sometimes you got to keep mithering people, or like get somebody else to get your foot in the door, maybe, you know.
Yeah, might have to use your contacts.
Mate, I would have no problem in speaking to somebody like Stoney for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Trying to persuade Screedy or someone like that who's a right miserable bastard these days. I doubt, but
no, that's fair enough.
We'll see how we do.
Yeah. We'll have a discussion after this, shall we say? You know, go like that. But going back to obviously '96 still, you're having a great year with Bradford. I haven't got the stats on what your average was at the time, but I'm sure it was a high 9, near 10-point average at that sort of time. Obviously flying and everything. And then you did the England Test Series against Australia. And a certain incident with a teammate at Poole kind of ended your season.
Mr. Dugard picking up unwanted drive. Yeah, the bastard. Nah, I didn't hold it against him. You know, it's racing. It happens. You know, he didn't pick up on purpose. You know, if it had been like Martin's has on occasions in his career tended to be a little bit naughty, shall we say? But that was just genuine racing accident. You know, he picked up and I was on the outside, and if I'd have been probably 9 inches either side of where I landed, I'd probably walk away. But I fucking went in ass first. I wanted them posts.
Yeah.
At Poole, they have these posts which like compressed nylon.
Okay.
So they're like, oh yeah, great, they're really flexible. So at the top of the fence, they flex a good 6-8 inches. But where they go in the ground at the bottom, they don't flex as E. And I remember the crash because I'm going really fast towards the fence, and I thought, last minute, I'm going to break my legs, or one of my legs here, so I lifted my legs up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And because I lifted my legs up, I went in arse first and hit like with my coccyx, and it was compression, just fucking bust me out 2 vertebrae out.
Nasty, absolutely.
Like
nasty.
I say, that post, that nylon, I think they're probably 4x4 nylon posts. I snapped it when it went in the ground.
Jeez.
Snapped it clean off from my ass.
Because I think if I remember right, that was the first corner incident, wasn't it, more than anything? That wasn't actually during the race. I think it was the first corner.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah. We both made decent ones. I think I'd made a little bit better one. And then when he picked up, I seen him pick it up and cover the crossing. I think I got off the gas, but he just took my front wheel out.
Yeah.
You know, without meaning to. And that's the bike went out and I'm going sliding towards the fence. And if I'd have kept my legs down, I might have broke one of my legs, maybe, so a foot or something. Or if it had been 6 inches either side of where I landed, I'd have probably got and walked away. But such is life.
Yeah, and obviously, like we touched on earlier, you're having such a great run in the Grand Prix series at the time. Like say, about 4th or 5th in the championship. I don't think you. I think you missed out on a couple of the A finals in the first 2 rounds, but you managed to make the B finals.
I think I made both B finals, and I think in Lonago I either won it or was second in it. And I think that put me like joint 4th or something like that. Yeah. Overall, after the 2 rounds. But then I never obviously got to ride again that season. And I'd like to have thought that as an ex-world champion and somebody who was lying 4th after 2 rounds that I might have got a pick or an invite back. But obviously my face doesn't fit too well in the echelons of power, should we say?
I think
so. I never.
No, I think a lot of that also at the time was the fact that they were pushing the qualifying into the Grand Prix rather than having the seeding system maybe at the time. Because obviously, I think the top 8 went from obviously the top 8 went into the following year's series, and then the lower 8 went to the challenge with the other 8 qualifiers or whatever it was.
Right.
So maybe they would have seeded you.
Is that how they did it? Right.
Yeah, I think it was. But I think if you were fit, maybe you might have been put into the challenge.
Yeah, I think you mean like.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any pick. They didn't have any picks for '97 then.
Not as far as I'm aware, because
No.
I think
Okay.
I think the
Right.
seeding
All
system
right.
only came into the early 2000s, things like that, when BSI started to change it
Okay.
around and
Okay.
things like
Right.
that,
Right.
which is one of my
Right.
bugbearers
Okay.
of Speedway at the moment, is people being seeded, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion. It should be, you have to earn your spot in the series, I think. But
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. Don't get me wrong. I think having maybe 2 or 3 isn't a bad thing, because, like that, for example, a guy who's joint 4th after 2 rounds, and he's riding well, you'd think that he would have a good chance of being in the top 8
Yeah,
if
yeah,
he hadn't got injured.
yeah,
So, what if you get, you've got Ty Wolfenden wins the World Championship in 2020, right? And then he crashes and he can't ride for 3/4 of the season.
yeah.
Well, I think it's good to have 2 or 3, but when they've been like last few years, was it last year? They had about 5 or 6.
I think it was, yeah, something like that.
It's
Yeah.
just like fucking hell, you know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's been good this year.
And I don't have a problem with the seeding, with having picks when you pick the absolute best that there is available. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But sometimes they put the picks in for, well, I'm not going to say dubious reasons, because, but I do know in the past, maybe it's not so much now with BSI and all that, but when they first started, I know they were trying to tap up individual riders' sponsors to
Okay.
sponsor
All right. Yeah.
GPs,
Yeah.
because they were that much struggling. Yeah. You look back in the years of some of the 4 covers, and you'll recognise them because they're rider sponsors.
Yeah.
So, if you were then a massive sponsor, right, and you say, "Well, yeah, I'll sponsor. I'll do 3 rounds or whatever," but I've got this rider, and if I do this, I expect him to be in it. I think there was a bit of that going about early on. I'm not so much. I don't know if there is now, because I'm not as close to it as. But I think there definitely was early on.
Yeah, because I think if you remember right, someone like Tony Ricardson's main sponsor, wasn't it Select, or wasn't it who sponsored Masana as well?
Yep.
Yeah, they sponsored a few Swedish rounds and stuff like that. So yeah, that does kind of make a bit of sense. Yeah. So again, it's insights that we don't sort of hear about all the time. It's nice to hear.
And then that season when Tony decided he was going to have Team Ricardson, and he got
with
matey boy from Poland,
Sebastian
Womack. Yeah. Well, I don't think Sebastian Womack would have been in the Grand Prix if it wasn't for the fact that he was in Team Ricardson, and Team Ricardson's main sponsor was Selleck.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's all interesting.
You know me, I speak only the truth. I ain't gonna say shit that I'm just making up. You know what I mean?
No,
people don't like it.
No, that's why I wanted to get you on. One reason why I want to get you on the show is because obviously you're 100% honest and straight up, which is what I personally like to hear anyway. But let's go back a bit more, back to obviously the time when you were injured in '96. Did you think that you would be able to make a comeback at all that year, or is it that whole season was just then written off then?
Nah. Yeah, I pretty much knew straight away. We didn't announce it in the press. We kept saying, I might be back for the next one, one. But I knew I wouldn't be. There's 2 things you really can't mess about with in Speedway, in any sport really, and that's your back and your head, And I'd broke bones before and stuff, but then, like, you break your back and you've got to have, surgery that lasted nearly 7 hours. Jeez. To put scaffold in and stuff in there. It's like, okay, it's serious. But, it was okay, because I got to, that's when I started to go on Sky.
Yeah.
And do the, actually the first one I did was, I don't know if it was the 3rd Grand Prix or the 4th Grand Prix, but it was Linköping in Sweden.
Yeah, I think it was about round 4.
And the first one I ever did. And they put me in the studio with Barry Briggs. And I don't know if you recall or not, but when it got to the final, my good friend of mine, Henke Gustafsson, was winning the final. Billy Hamel was second. I don't know who was third. Greg Hancock was last at the back. And after about 2 laps, Greg fucking fell off going into turn 1 on a slick track, right? And did the old fucking fish under the bike trick, right? And straight away I've gone, he's laid that down there. And they're like, because we're off air, there's like Keith Hewins going, what have he, what? I said, oh, they're in Team X side. They're like, you know, and the teammates. I said, he's laid it down to get the race stopped, to get his mate another chance. And Keith Hewins talking to the producers and that, and they're going, oh, God, it's like, they're like really excited. And Barry Briggs has gone to me, you can't say that on TV, have you? And I looked at him and went, you just fucking watch me, Bazza.
Oh, dear.
And he came back, and I went, well, you know, when do you see a world-class rider like Greg Hancock falling off going into the corner on a smooth, slick track? Doesn't happen. No. So anyway, it all come out and that, and then it was in the papers afterwards, and Greg thought it was great, because Greg's a bit like me. He's obviously the impression that any publicity is good publicity, but Billy Hamel wasn't too pleased, because he, if you remember, he actually won the rerun.
Yeah, he won the final. Yeah,
they robbed Henkel out of a Grand Prix win. Yeah. So and he didn't take too kindly to it. Him and his do you remember his manager Ginger Crager, big Ginger,
yes,
Scottish.
Craig Cummings, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yeah, Craig Cummings. Yeah. They weren't too happy about it. We had a few, should we say, choice words with those two, but you know, like I give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was only telling it like it is.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously you stayed on the Sky punditry rest of that season, and obviously then you went into interviewing and stuff like that. I think I remember rightly watching the Hackney '96 round, and you're in the studio then. Yep. I think I remember they were doing a track grade, and you mentioned something like, "Are they really blading it?" or something like that. You went, you know, they've got like this big old blade out, and you couldn't believe it, and it was like, things like that. And I don't think it was maybe heard on the microphone, but you heard it. You thought, okay, Harry's got something to say in a minute, you know, that sort of thing. But
yeah, the biggest problem was when I first worked for Sky. The guy who run the show, the producer, he was called Martin Turner. Okay. And the guy who ran it at the end for about the last 10 years or whatever was, what was his name? I forget his name, but basically what happened when I first worked for Sky, Martin Turner was the producer, and he loved the fact that I was being a bit controversial. He thought it was great, you know what I mean? And he loved it. So then he started sending me abroad to a couple of the GPs doing the rider interviews in the pits and stuff. Yeah. And that was great as well. I loved that. But then the problem was, I think it would have been either, when was it? 96, 97. Would have been about 97, 98, maybe, 99, something like that. They took Martin Turner off Speedway and put him over to like tennis or something like that.
Oh dear.
And his number 2, Rory Hopkins.
Oh, I recognise
his number 2, Rory Hopkins, got the gig of running the show. Yeah. The only problem is that Martin Turner and Rory Hopkins hated each other.
Okay.
So the fact that when Rory got the gig, the big gig, I was like Martin Turner's boy, if you like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So all of a sudden, I started getting hardly any work, you know, and then I got less and less meetings, and then in the end, I got none, and it was like that was when Kelvin was coming along and like fucking licking. He had his tongue so far up the producer's freaking ass. It was not. Honest. It was nauseous, and I was like, "Well, Calvin, if you want to be a TV star that badly, you crack on." I once had an interview, a conversation with Keith Hewin, you know, who did the GPs, really early on, and I said to him, "I think I've got an idea of this TV malarkey." And he goes, "What's that?" I said, "Is it like the more arse you lick, the further up the ladder you get?" And he went, "Yeah, you've hit the nail right on the head there." So I said, "Right, unfortunately, I don't think I have a splendid TV career ahead. Because that just ain't me. You know what I mean? It's not me. I'm licking anybody's ass for anything.
No. But obviously, you spent a good few years in the TV studios, obviously, for several years in the Grand Prix. So, you know, obviously, like we said in the last episode, it was all about your shirts and your sunglasses and, and all that sort of thing. But
I always tried to be different, you know. I always tried to be different. And, you know, I always tried to be different the way I looked and stuff like that and acted. But, you know, I always tried to be very subjective when it came to what I was saying and what I was talking about. Yeah. So, yes, I could be controversial, but I wouldn't be controversial for controversial sake. You know? If it's just a normal boring meeting with a slick track and that, nothing to talk about, it ain't going to be controversial. Yeah. Maybe about the track curator, you know. But, when there's something controversial to be talked about, it needs to be talked about. The fans are paying their money to watch Sky Sports. Yeah. They want to be talked about, and you know, even when I first started doing it with Sky, even when I'd go to a track to ride, you know, somewhere, a track where I hadn't necessarily got on well with the fans over the years, should we say, I'd get fans coming up to me and saying, we weren't really a big fan of yours, like when you rode and that, but we think you're fantastic in the studio. Just keep being yourself, you know, it's so refreshing. And but unfortunately, what they want now is they want arse leggers and they want yes men, and they want to sit on the fence men and go, talk about frigging top draws, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what Kelvin and Nigel do now is good entertainment, but I understand where you're coming from. It's nice
I completely disagree. You know, there's quite a few people who think it's good entertainment, but I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I don't know. It seems to me like it's more about them two than the freaking Speedway. You know. But hey,
no, that's fair. That's fair enough. I mean, you know, I think that
like the Murphys, I'm not bitter.
No. No, you enjoyed your time.
Remember that advert? Always, always. I remember a couple of times, like back in the day when we were like up against Hans Nielsen and that, and we used to talk with my mechanic and that, and I used to say, right, I think at the end of our careers, I said, Hans will definitely have a lot more medals than me. I said, but he won't have had the frigging fun we've had. Not a chance.
No. I can imagine things like with you and the Bradford boys more than anything, you know, having a good laugh or that sort of thing. You know, especially with like
not
Sean
just
Wilson.
The Bradford lads, Oh God, yeah. Like I say, over the years, all the different lads who've come through Bradford, like Sean and Screeny, Matt Loram, and you know, but too many to name, you know. But we always try. You know, the group of lads who I grew up with when I was a kid, went to school with, and that's all we did. You know what I mean? We were just always taking the piss out of each other and other people, and like just going through life, having a crack and a laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes life's too short.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's way too short. I mean, you've got to enjoy the ride, haven't you, along the way? But that leading on to that,
I think so. I mean, I don't want to get to the stage where I'm wheeled into my grave, right, in a wheelchair or in a Zimmer frame. I want to go in there full fucking chat sideways with me back wheel on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's you in a nutshell. 100% you in a nutshell. That'd be cool. But leading on to
although I am a lot calmer now. I'm definitely getting calmer as I get older.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, but leading on to that, obviously 97 season. We'll just touch on that. Obviously, that's the last year of Bradford and everything. What are your sort of memories, maybe, of towards the end of the season? You know, obviously you had your testimonial there as well that year, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
You know, and then obviously you had the overseas final there as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. And I also that year was obviously it was the year coming back from my spinal injury.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people didn't know was I didn't get when they operated, which was probably I think I did it beginning of June, something like that. we were operated probably like middle of June, something like that, end of June, and the metalwork was supposed to stay in for at least 12 months, and I talked my surgeon into taking it out in February, right just before the season. So I'd been in and had all the metalwork took out my back, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm not gonna ride abroad anywhere this year. I'm just gonna ride for Bradford, ease myself back in, and try and get a season under my belt without fucking any more hospital food. And luckily that's what I managed to do, and it ended up great because, like you said, I had my testimonial there for 10 years, and then after 10 years trying, we finally managed to win the league.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Again, that was a good season. Obviously, with I think you had Mark Laram in the team, you had Screeney, Josh Larson.
It was nearly all British except Josh Larson, wasn't it? It was me, Screeney, Laram, Gary Stead.
That's it. Yeah.
Was it Dave Walsh?
Yeah, I think so. Dave Walsh was in the team.
And Josh Larson. I think it was only six rider teams, wasn't it?
It was those years of the nominated race, I think it was, and things like that. You know, another silly idea, I think, personally. But what do I know?
Yeah.
But,
another silly idea that was probably left in for like 1 year. It was like when they did when they brought the fast track reserves in. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a great idea. That was a great idea, but they should have said, right, we're doing it for no matter what happens, no matter what bullshit ideas anyone comes up with. We're doing this for 3 years, or we're doing it for 5 years.
Yeah. One season.
Plan.
Yeah, it was one season, wasn't it? Yeah.
Has anyone got a plan? 5-year plan, 3-year plan, any plan? Not us. No plan. No clue.
No, because they brought that in. Obviously, I think it was like 2014. They brought that in, but they also obviously did that back in the 80s, didn't they? About 87, I think it was, when you had Mark Laram, Sean Wilson, and a few other kids come through and have them at reserve. I think Mark Laram scored like a 5-point average that year or something like that. But but then it proved it worked. Because it gave these kids the foot in the door.
Look at Poland. Look at Poland. They do it. I don't know if they've got 3 leagues, but they always used to have 3 leagues, and they do it. Every club in every league has to have under 21 Polish riders.
Yeah.
That's why the likes of the Russian kids have actually turned Polish and got Polish passports and everything. Like the kid at Wroclaw. What's he called with long hair?
Oh, Chuganov. Gleb Chuganov.
The Juggernaut. That's what we nicknamed him, the Juggernaut. That's a great nickname. He's actually Polish now. He rides the Polish license, he's got a Polish passport and all that, which is great for Wroclaw because they could put him in at under 21, but shit for him riding for his country.
Exactly.
We can't ride for Russia anymore,
I think that ruled him out of the Speedway of Nations this year at the reserve berth.
And the year before,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I mean, it's the Rooney Halter syndrome, isn't it? Because obviously Rooney Halter changed to Polish.
Yeah, but let's face facts, right? He was never going to win World Championships with frigging Norway, was he?
No, he wasn't. No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas Juggernaut with the Lagutas and Emil, would have a chance of winning World Championships for his original nation.
Yeah, I know.
But obviously the pull of the Zloty was too high.
Yeah, I think also there was
a lot of
there's a lot of doubt at the start of the year because obviously with the Russians, whether they were going to even come out of Russia, I think was a lot of that as well. Because Emil, I think Emil said at the start of the season that he wasn't going to come over when the coronavirus was at its peak in Poland. And I think Chuganov was already in Poland, so the only way he could ride at the time was to be a Polish rider. I think. I don't know if that's true or not. That's only what I heard.
No, that's bullshit, mate. The reason he became a Polish citizen with a Polish passport and everything was so he could be at reserve.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That probably makes more sense.
Middle and bottom of it.
Yeah.
I mean, from the age of about 18, he was looking promisingly really, really good. So they've got in. I don't know how long it took them and actually when he became Polish, but I know certainly from 2019 he was definitely riding on a Polish license and a Polish passport.
Yeah, that
So
probably makes a lot more sense. But again, what you read in the media and what the facts are two different things. So, but
exactly.
yeah,
You want the facts? Come talk to me.
yeah. Okay. Harry knows all. Harry knows all. But going back to your career, obviously '97 was a sad time, a sad year when Bradford shut. Could you see that happening towards the end of the season? Then was there stuff being told to you from the promotion?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is that we sort of knew that what was being told to the fans was a lot of bullshit.
Mm.
And you know, the reason they gave that they weren't riding is that they were doing a big refurb on Odsal Stadium, and they were going to have to pull out the league for maybe 1 or 2 years. We're never doing it. Putting a roof on Odsal Stadium. That was the talk. You would see how big Odsal is. Put a roof on there. No chance. It's not like it's Wimbledon, is it? You know what I mean?
No.
And we were just like, we knew that the reason he was pulling out the league was because although they'd finally won the league, it cost them that much money to win the league. They thought, well, if we can't make it pay in the league winning season, what's the point? And he was smart because there was, I don't know if the rule is still now, but back then the rule was that if you pulled out the league, you could still get loan fees for your riders for up to 2 years, right? But then by the 3rd year, you either had to sell them or they all went to the big SPA. So what Alan Ham did, the sneaky bastard, he loaned everybody out for 2 years, and then the 3rd year sold them all.
Yeah. Because obviously, I remember.
And again, the fans get the shit end of the stick because they get told that, it's only a year or two, stadium's getting done.
Yeah, because I remember it being said at the Elite League Riders Championship when it was on Sky that year that they were going to build a big old dome over it called the Bradford Superdome or something like that. It was going to be. But,
that's it, yeah. A lot of bollocks. Yeah.
And as I've got older, I obviously realised they wanted them out.
Was that JP at Coventry? Was it?
No, that was at the Elite League Riders Championship at Bradford. I think it was the last ever meeting there.
Oh, right. I remember being at the last British GP before Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I was in the studio, Coventry, and that's when they announced that they were going to go to the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, that's at Coventry.
Calvin Tatum was like, I never heard so much rubbish in my entire life. How are they going to go to the Millennium Stadium? Just fully doubted it, fully said, no chance, no chance.
And where is it now?
What do you know, Calvin?
Yeah, because that was 2000 they announced that, wasn't it? They were moving into big old Cardiff.
Was it?
Yeah, because that was the night that Martin won the Grand Prix.
The year Norman won it.
Yeah. I was there that night with a 10-year-old in the stands cheering him on.
Good lad.
That was a good night of Speedway. Again, another controversial night of Riley and things like that, but it was great to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a home rider win and especially the wild card, you know what I mean? I think was he the first wild card to ever win one?
No, he was the second one because Mark won the first one.
Oh, was he?
In Sweden in '99.
Ah, okay.
But Martin was the first one first wild card to win a home Grand Prix in any country.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's only Hans Andersen and Adrian Mazinski. I think the only other two have done it. So
I was going to say it's about 3 or 4 altogether now, isn't there?
Yeah, something like that. But it's very, very few who've done it. Yeah. So, but it's good to know that the first 2 wildcards to ever win a Grand Prix were British. You know, that's a good thing as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we've been so poor and richish, should we say?
Yeah.
That we take anything.
Exactly.
We take anything.
Exactly. But I always think that that sort of time was good for Speedway anyway, because the racing was great and everything else. You know, you had yourself, you had Mark, you had down at Poole anyway. You had obviously Magnus, Zetterstrom, crowd puller there.
Yeah.
That year.
Lars Gunnestad.
Yeah, Lars Gunnestad. You know, so many good riders. But before we went to Poole in '98, you signed for Prix. You know, you signed for the Eagles.
Indeed.
So how did that sort of come about then? Was that just like a last minute sort of deal then, or was that something planned?
No, it was. It was weird because I was obviously when Bradford closed, that all our names got circulated. So I was just sitting waiting for the phone to ring, and the phone rang, and it was Eastbourne, and I was like, oh, that's the absolute last place on earth that I would ever thought that I would sign for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the more I sort of thought about it, and the more time went on, and like nobody else was on the phone, and I thought, do you know what? It's a long way, but I've got a full-time mechanic, and it's the type of home track that once you suss it, brilliant home track advantage. Yeah. So yeah, that was the plan. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go that way because I didn't manage to suss it.
Yeah, because that was
I just couldn't get on with it, and
that was the year before the track change, wasn't it? In 90, because 99 the track changed at Eastbourne, but obviously 98. I mean, I've got DVDs of the home meetings of that year, and I think remember right, you started off really well and everything.
I got spot 17 in a challenge match against Kings Lynn.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
And I thought, this has got to be fucking great. This.
yeah. But then as the season gone, I think
you know, one of my biggest problems was the starts, mate. The starts are so grippy. Bob used to put clay into the starts, and it was so grippy that I just struggled to get off them consistently. And you know, when you're not making starts, it's hard to dial in the track because you're fighting all the time. When you're out in front, you can try different lines, and you know, and I think you'll probably agree with me. It certainly wasn't only me that was going shit. No. It was like the whole team. But unfortunately, it was the case of last one in, first one out, I think.
Yeah. Because obviously then you moved on to Poole in that same season.
Yeah, because you know, like you'd think normally if I was the promoter or something and the team was doing shit, and I'd get them together and say, look lads, you're gonna have to pull your fingers out, or we're gonna make changes. You know, we can't keep losing. You know, and just give us a week or two to see if we can sort it out. You know what I mean? But no, he phoned me up and just sacked me on the spot without any warning or anything.
Yeah, which is bad.
Which was really bad, and then like later on that day, a really good friend of mine died, so it made the day even really worse. It was like one of the worst days of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Never good.
But yeah, looking back, the fantastic time I had at Poole. Looking back, John Cook did me a massive favour.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, because I might not have gone to Poole otherwise, and I might not have met all the fantastic people that I know down there, and Matt and Midlow and Gibby, and all my friends down there. You know, I had 4.5 brilliant years down there, and like Matt said, come and ride for me, and I'll give you a farewell meeting. He was good to his word.
Yeah, he was.
So and although Eastbourne, you know, it wasn't great, but it ended up in a twisted sort of way. It got me to Poole. So
because I think you went to Poole on like a sort of like a false average. I think it's like a 6-point average. You went there in the end, or something like that. Something stupid. After being on
I remember when I went there.
I was going to say, after being like a 9-point average at Eastbourne, or going to Eastbourne like a 9-point average.
8.5 or something,
yeah. Then being on a false average.
I remember when I went to Poole, they were bottom of the league, and they were running to about 700 people. And I believe that I whacked in like 14, about 5 meetings running at home. And we won them all, and we managed to get off the bottom of the league. So that was a big thing for me, because when they went there, they were going to get the wooden spoon. There was no doubt.
Yeah,
I like to think in a small way. I avoided them getting the wooden spoon, and that was obviously when I met Matt. He was the team sponsor in '98. There were the Hair Arena Pirates, and that's when, in that winter, Matt and Mike Gordon bought the club and took it over.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of is history.
It's history, because obviously that was the year also when we had the silly suits, the team suits, as well.
Oh, the Johnny suits.
Okay, the Johnny suits.
Johnny suits. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember. Again, going back to when you rode at Eastbourne, you were the first one, I think, you and Mark were the first two to have the suits, but you didn't have the suits that the BSPA supplied you. You got your own.
We got
Scott
our own ones made. Yeah.
You got Scott, and I think Martin got his NJK ones sorted out.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I've got one of those.
There was no way I was having one of them ones.
No, I got one of those suits at home in my collection of suits, and I couldn't believe how thin it was. You know, to ride.
Oh, mate, is it one of the Mark 1s or the Mark 2s? Because the Mark 1s, right, the frigging idiots. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it was a good idea in theory, you know, of having teams looking all the same and everything, you know, but just the wrong way to go around it, because it was a thing that trials riders wear.
Yeah.
Like, you know how thin it is. And the problem was that people were, as soon as they went out on parade, did a practice start, they slipped off the back of the seat and nearly looped it. You know, you have that grippy bit on you under your crotch. Yeah. So people were just cutting them from knee to knee. Yeah. So they were like open so that they could get the grippy bit of the.
That's my suit I've got, that one there. So, you know.
Yours is the Mark II, because yours has got the black. You have got the black grippy bit in the crotch, see?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a bit of a better one.
Yeah, because the Mark 1s, that's a Mark 2. Yeah, it's a Mark 2.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember seeing some of the Eastbourne boys, like you said, they cropped them. They cut the sleeves off, cut the bottoms off, and then rode with their suits underneath it, you know. I mean, it's a good idea.
Cut out the crotch so they could get the grippy bit on the seat.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was good.
It's a good idea, but it needs. Yeah, but again, Speedway, it's like, you know, it was a good idea, but we just fucked it up.
Yeah, because obviously that was the time also you had the helmet colours as well.
If you see a team, right, on press day and they've got team suits, but they're all from the same manufacturer, they look proper smart. Yeah. But problem is, you'll get like matey boy, I'm not getting mine off his, I get mine off his. So you've got about 3 different shades of frigging blue, haven't you?
Yeah. I think that's what you had at Eastbourne. I think yours was there as well. So yeah, obviously when you came to Poole towards the end of that '98 season, did you expect to stay there that long that you did, or was it going to be 1 or 2 seasons, you reckon?
No, it was just till the end of the season as far as I was concerned. It was like Eastbourne was a frigging long way, and Poole's a frigging long way as well. You know, they both take around about 5.5 hours if the traffic's clear. Yeah. You know, not normal driving speed. We did get home once in 4 hours from Poole, but that was night time, and we were doing 100 mile an hour all the way. You know what I mean? So, but. No, I was fully expecting us to do the end of the season now and then look at my options. But like I say, got friendly with Matt and kept in touch with him. He was in touch with me over the winter, saying, and I actually tried to persuade him out of buying it. Oh, okay. I said, anyone who puts their own hard-earned money into a Speedway club in this day and age is mad. Once a fucking head look at that. And thankfully, he completely ignored all my advice and went ahead and bought the club. Yeah. Bought half the club originally. And here's a little story that not many people know. That when Matt bought the club, I believe was 120,000, and he bought his half, 60,000, by maxing out about 8 credit cards.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's someone who wants it badly, though. That is.
Tell me about it. You know, and then I think after the first season, he got like a loan to pay the cards off, and then he, you know, and you know, now he you know, look. To be fair, since he took over in '99, Poole have been the Man United of Speedway. They just have. Yeah, they have.
And it sort of started that year in '99, really, when you had yourself there, Mark, Zorro, Matty Furyan, Scotty, as well. You know, I mean that
Lee Richardson.
Oh yeah, and old Rico, Lee Richardson. Yeah, it's Of course,
Yeah.
him and Scotty were the two sort of up and coming under 21 riders at the time, weren't they? They
They
were sort of
were.
battling out
They
to be
were
the
at the
best in
time.
England.
Yeah.
You know, so that must have been great as well. But the whole team spirit must have been
Yeah.
fantastic back then.
Yeah. Well, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And what a lot of people don't know is that year '99 that Scott and Lee both qualified for the World Under-21 final in Voyage.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
Lee asked me. I was riding with Lee in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
We were riding for Linköping in the Swedish Premier League, and we got quite close, and he asked me if I'd go to Voyage with him, and so I did, and he won it, which was really nice. It's
nice to be a part of that sort of thing and help a young rider to get his own goal there, isn't it? And things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I know he had John Davis, but like John Davis was that much of a stress head. I think he wanted me to go to try and keep everything on the calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because obviously John Davis guided him.
It worked.
Mm.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely, he did. Yeah.
Lee
wouldn't have been half of where he was without John's help.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but obviously that year you almost won the league, but pipped by Peterborough. And on TV.
Race of the last meeting, last meeting of the last season. It's like, oh my God, how close! You couldn't come down to any closer, really, could it? And like, we had quite an easy task, me and Mal Lauren, if I remember rightly. We only had to beat like Tony Ricardson and Lee Adams.
Oh, it's an easy fight.
On their own track. Yeah, Dodo.
Yeah.
But, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It wasn't meant to be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm a massive believer in fate and things that are meant to be. So.
Yeah. Of course, that was also over the 6 laps for Heat 15 as well that year, you know. So you had a few more laps to try and beat him, didn't you?
Another fucking ridiculous idea. Did you hear about the one at Poole?
No, what was that one then?
Against Kingsland.
No, what was that one then?
Well, it was. I was either first or second. I can't remember, but Tony Ricardson was behind me. Yeah, and us speed riders, we just programmed to do 4 laps. You know, we've been doing that since I was 5 years old. 4 laps. I don't even look at the flags. I just know it's the second lap, it's the third lap, last lap. Done, right? I'm racing, I'm riding that hard, right, to try and keep Tony behind me. That I've come out the last corner and down the straight, like raced him to the start finishing line, and just went over the thing and shut off. I thought,
oh no!
So I went across the start finishing line, shut off, coasted into the first bend at Poole, and Tony was on the outside of me.
Oh no!
Full chat. And he clipped me and catapulted over the fence. Him and his bike in a big heat. I just went, oh man. As soon as I did it, I went, oh, what was on? And luckily he was all right. He wasn't injured. I'm so fucking sorry. So sorry.
Just one of those things. But like you say, you're programmed to do 4 laps. The moment someone's up to an extra couple laps, and you're screwed. You know, it's But
even one extra, one less.
It's crazy. But I think that was also brought in for the first year on TV as well, because obviously Sky came in to cover the league that year for the first time. So maybe that was because to give a bit extra entertainment, you know, something like that.
Maybe, but again, it goes back to my old adage: give the lads a good track to ride on.
Yeah.
And they produce good racing.
I think I remember seeing Peterborough goes against someone, and I think Ryan Sullivan done Heat 15, and it was quite slick that night at Peterborough. And on the TV, they got really close to his tyre, and it was like it was on its knobbles, you know, right down to the base of the tyre on one side. It had gone sort of like that, and you know, and you think that's after 6 laps, and that's around Peterborough as well, and that's a quick track. So, you know, obviously the next year went back to normal, so that was fine. 2000 went back to normal.
It's because the fucking tyres are so fucking the tyres that we've had for the last 20 years have just been so substandard. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Just bullshit. Hard, thin 2-ply sidewalls, you know.
Yeah.
I remember the old Dunlops. You could run them right down to about £3 in the back tyre. Because the sidewalls, you had 4-ply, but the Barham stroke Mitas, you get down below about £7 of them, and then the walls just fall to the middle of the corner.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look on the side of your tyre, you see see lines like that. Just tyres being fallen in the middle of the corner, you can get shit right.
Yeah.
It just showed you in that Grand Prix this year at Wroclaw.
Yeah.
Them dudes on them Anlas tyres.
Yeah.
Just made a joke out of the riders on the meters. That's how shit meters are.
I think with meters they haven't really changed their compounds or anything like that much, over the years. And of course it's also stayed the same. And then, like you say, Anlis come along with something completely different, and it worked. It worked, but then all of a sudden they
softer compound probably.
Yeah, probably. And all of a sudden they failed all FIM.
The thing is, if you
things.
Yeah, what a fucking joke that is when they were the main sponsor for the whole series.
I know.
Hey, how to piss your number one sponsor off in one easy move?
Yeah, I know.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Only in Speedway. Only in
Speedway. Yeah. But I mean, obviously you've thrown the Dunlops and you've run a lot of tyres yourself. Was there anything in particular that you preferred? Was it a Dunlop or is it a Barham or something like that you liked?
The best tyre I ever rode was when I was about 15. It was called a Carlisle.
Oh, the old Carlisles, yeah.
They used to use them. And they were like, the tread was deeper, it was wider, it was softer, the walls were stronger. And literally, the guys would use them in the Premier League. I remember my dad would like recut them.
Oh, okay.
And use them like 4-6 meetings on a tyre, one tyre.
Yeah.
And then when in the early 90s, I think you had a choice between Barham and Dunlop.
Yeah.
And if the track had a lot of material on it, was grippy, the Barhams were okay.
Yeah.
The Barhams were fine, but as soon as you got a track that was a little bit slick, the Dunlops just took the piss. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The difference. Honestly, the difference was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, put it this way: if you were on a slick track, right, and you had 20 cats and at his absolute peak, right,
yeah,
and then you had someone like Neville Tatum, right, on a Dunlop, he beat Tony.
Yeah,
that was what the difference was. Yeah.
But sometimes you need that sort of thing, just to sort of have a bit more spice into Speedway, having a choice. Rather than saying one thing or the other.
You know what I mean? Like, even if there's only one tyre, surely make 3 different, a soft, a medium, and a hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they do with GB in Formula 1 or whatever, I don't know. Just make it a bit fucking different.
Exactly.
Like Barham / Mitres, since Dunlop pulled out, they've had the fucking monopoly.
Yeah, no, yeah. And everyone's, because obviously...
The reason the BS...
Because obviously no one else has come in to sort of... take over apart from Anlis in recent years,
Well, no, like that golden tyre, tyre appeared because Greg Hancock was using it for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
flying up starts on it, and then all of a sudden you didn't really hear anything more about it. So I don't know what the fuck went on there.
No, I don't know where that went, but I think that was an Italian company, so I think it might be still be used in Italy, maybe a lot and things like that. So I think. Paco Castagna uses them a lot out there and things like that. Okay. So I'm not sure. I know he did last year and everything. Using them quite a lot. So, easy man to talk to about them, I think, and that sort of thing. But and I mean, it's interesting to know what you preferred and what you didn't prefer. Obviously from you've gone through so many changes in the sport. From engines to tyres to silencers. And everything else in between. Fences. That's it. Air fences, true, very true.
Air fences that we had to ride two meetings for free.
Yeah.
To pay for the air fences, yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of the next year, they said, "Well, you've got these 2-3 meetings again." No, it's fine. No, 2 meetings it was free. Oh no, it was 2 meetings, 2 years running.
Yeah.
And then the second year, people hardly anyone. Everyone was breaking down on the way and pulling out and having a cold and all sorts. So that was just ridiculous. Typical fucking BSPA.
Yeah. I mean,
we need to do something. We'll make the riders pay it.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand it maybe for like the first year because obviously everyone had to buy it brand new. I can understand that maybe 1 year, but after that, it would have taken the piss.
I bet they didn't have to ride free meetings in Poland or Sweden or Denmark or everywhere else in the world. We were the last country in the world to get air fences, weren't we? In the Premier League.
Yeah. Oh, yes, in the Premier League. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely were. Absolutely were, yeah. Because I know a couple of times the Bears tried to sign Slovenian riders, and the Slovenian authorities wouldn't let them ride in England because there was no air fences.
Bloody hell.
How behind is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So they had them in Slovenia. But they wouldn't buy them in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How much is a rider's life? How much is a rider's life worth?
Exactly.
We'll get somebody else.
Yeah. I remember a classic one was, I think it was the Elite League Riders Championship at Kings Lynn. This is when Kings Lynn was in the Premier League, and they had it there, and they borrowed Eastbourne's air fence to run the meeting.
That's right.
And
it wasn't big enough, was it?
Yeah, because obviously you know what Eastbourne's corners are compared to Kings Lynn's corners. You know, they were nowhere near right. Yeah. You know, and you think, you know,
didn't
again,
start it about a third of the way to the corner and then finish it about a third of the way.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. So basically, all the bits that you could have fallen, if you fall off in the first corner, you miss the air fence. But if you go in the corner, you hit the air fence. I remember seeing that.
If you picked up coming out the corner, you missed it.
Yeah, so I remember having to take it down and then being told by, I think it was John Cook or someone like that, saying, "Oh, they're taking this to Kings Lynn for the meeting up there in the week." And we thought, Kings Lynn, Eastbourne, have they not seen the size of the corners? You know?
Nate, you should have just put it on the first and second corner. Maybe use both Eastbourne ones to cover the whole thing.
Yeah,
it on the third and fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's crazy things like that you remember, you know. But obviously, when the FXs came into the Premier League, it was a godsend because obviously, you know, then I think I was always following Eastbourne. They were still in the top league at the time, but when you were in the Premier League, I can imagine the racing got better and everything because the safety aspect was improved.
Yeah, but I mean, why is guys in the Premier League and the Conference League's lives worth less than the fucking ones in the Elite League? You know what I mean? We could never work out.
No, I don't know. I mean, it could have come down to Premier League promoters saying they couldn't afford it or something like that. But like you say,
that's exactly what it come down to. But they have afforded it, haven't they?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
bullshit.
Saying, mate. Yeah. But because I think I remember seeing, obviously when Oxford closed down.
Right, yeah, go on.
When Oxford closed down, I think I remember Plymouth having their air fence, so Plymouth could ride in the Premier League and things like that. You know, it's crazy little things like that. But you know, Speedway.
Speedway. It's a sad state of affairs when you talk about a bad situation and then the final word is it's Speedway.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Let's fast forward in your own career a little bit because obviously you had spells at Peterborough and Arena Essex, but then obviously in 2006 your home club pretty much came back in the form of Redcar. You know, was that something that you were happy to come back to and then basically finish your career there?
Again, it was something I never ever thought of. You know, I always envisioned myself staying at the top level. You know, and then stopping from there. But when it was actually Chris Van Straten, they asked me to go down and turn the first sod for building the Speedway. Yeah, because I'm like a local Speedway star, and it was a new Speedway track. It was so I went down, put my foot on a shovel, and pulled a funny face and that. And then Chris Van Straten asked if he could have a chat with me afterwards, and I sat down with him, and he put a really attractive deal together, you know. And I didn't decide straight away, you know. I think it took me a couple of weeks at the end, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense, you know.
Yeah.
I started going full circle and finishing my career back at Redcar. It's a new track. It's like I said, the longer I left it, the more sense it made, and in the end, so I jumped and did it.
I think I remember in your sort of first year in 2006, obviously you were top of the averages, you know, really doing really well because obviously being the top elite league rider coming down and everything. Did the sort of like the more meetings and everything help you in the long run then?
Don't know really, but what I do know is, like you say, that first year when I dropped down, I was if I wasn't top, I was top 3 in the averages. I think that was the year when me and Zorro were right at the top of the averages.
I think
maybe,
so. Yeah, I think it
when
might
he
have
was
been.
going for
Yeah.
Somerset.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, it was great. Like you say, I just dropped down, so I was still really sharp at that. But I sort of noticed every year that went on, it was like I got a year older, but also the young lads got a year better,
Yeah.
and equipment got better, and every year it seemed to be a little bit harder to stay where I was, and that just that happens, You drop the league and then you stay in that league. You get swallowed up by that league, You're never going to have a 11 and 3/4 point average. It just doesn't fucking happen, you know what I mean? So really, again, dropping down, it was really nice to go around seeing all the different clubs, and quite a few clubs that I'd opened that I'd never actually been to.
Yeah.
The likes of Somerset and Plymouth and places like that. So it was good, really good. And the fact that after the meetings, I was home in about 6 minutes, 7 minutes, as opposed to 5.5 hours for Poole.
Yeah,
a bit different.
Yeah, it's a bit like David Mason when he rode for Eastbourne in 2015. He lived 10 minutes down the road. It's that sort of same sort of thing.
Yeah. God, yeah.
But so what were your did you have like lots of good memories then riding for Red Car then? Was there some good stories there, I can imagine?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, again, being the captain and the elder statesman, it was nice to see some of the young lads that come through and that, and meet some different personalities than the lads in the elite league. We won the Gold Cup, I think. That might have even been our first year, 2006. We beat Birmingham in the final, and I think that was about the only success we had while I was there. We got close a few times, but didn't really win anything, But I think when you drop into that Premier League, it's a lot harder to win things than it is in the Elite League,
Yeah.
Got 7 clubs or whatever, 8 clubs in the Elite League, and I think at the time there was like 14 or 15 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Of course, and you had like the local sort of derbies who have been sort of like maybe Newcastle and places like that. Was it Tyne Tweed Trophy?
Tyne Tees Trophy.
Oh, Tyne Tees Trophy.
Tweed. The Tees Tweed Trophy was Middlesbrough against Berwick.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Berwick's the Tweed. Newcastle's the Tyne, but we when it's Speedway, we don't mention the word Newcastle around here.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just the scum.
Oh, fair enough.
And that's by no way a thingy on all people from Newcastle. It's just when it comes to the Speedway. I have some good friends from Newcastle with Geordies and that, so I don't have a problem. It just, should we say back then they had some really nasty fans.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
My missus was there with the 2 kids once, when the kids were little, and I was winning a race and somebody shouted, screamed, "Crash and die, Havelock, you bastard," or something like that.
Oh, nice. That's what we want to hear.
Exactly. She never ever went against Newcastle after that.
Yeah.
It was like, so.
Yeah, it's not nice to hear that sort of thing,
Local derby.
Yeah.
No.
But on my notes and everything, you managed to, I think it was win the Young Shield as well. You managed to win in 2007 with Red Car.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you had again a little bit of success with the club. So, but I think it was maybe more the fact that you're the local star that was there for 6 seasons or whatever it was. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, 6. Yeah. The slight downside of that was that I always got roped into doing anything local. If we were trying to do some press or PR, it was always me who got roped into it, which I didn't really mind, But there's a good thing about like riding for Poole. You tend not to get roped into stuff like that.
Yeah, always have to get home, sort of thing. It's 5 hours. Do you not know how quick it's to get home? Yeah. But I mean, you had some good guys you rode with. I mean, I think it was like you had Ty Proctor in the team. You had I think was Stoney there when you were there as well? And people like that.
Stoney was there for a while. Yeah. We had Mad Robbie Kessler, the German.
Yeah,
it was good fun.
Massey Cuss was there as well.
James Graves. Matty Cuss. Yeah.
Some good riders there.
Yeah, so a lot of good times. Yeah, I still go down there on a. I nearly said Thursday night there, on a Friday night. So be interested next year when we turn up with Poole and fucking wipe the floor with them.
Yeah, but it was still good to see. Obviously, 2019 that Redcar did well in the KO Cup run.
They did really well. Yeah, they did really well last year. Yeah,
because I think as obviously
they've had for the last 2 or 3 years they've had a good team.
Yeah,
you know, where so many years they bumbled along down the bottom of the league, never doing now. And then I think last 2 or 3 years they've invested a bit more money and should we say, and signed some better riders, and I think they've done really quite well.
Yeah. I mean, I've not.
And you see the stadium there now. If you'd have gone in 2006, and there was the track and the pits and Cutler, them static things, you know.
Yeah.
What they're called, you know, them big long cabins.
Cabins, yeah.
Well, there was one for the referee's box, and one for the changing rooms, and that was it. We go there now. There's stands up. There's VIP parts. There's big clubhouse. There's all sorts. And they've done really well over the years. Every year they seem to improve it a little bit.
Yeah,
which is good.
So I've never
a lot of clubs could take a leaf out of the book.
Yeah, new clubs anyway. New clubs that come up and things like that. But I've not been to Redcar.
No, I say sometimes. Yeah, it's a great little track. It was supposed to be, when it was being built, it was supposed to be identical to Somerset.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's nothing like Somerset. Well, it sort of is. It's got short straights and big bends like Somerset, but one bend's really banked and one bend's quite flat, and it's a good track. Nice race track. It's nice and wide. You know, like I was saying before. It's good. It's always good racing. In Mecca.
Yeah, because I think I saw some footage. I think when we first went to lockdown with when Eastbourne went there last year and everything, and the racing looked great to watch and everything. Obviously, Redcar won the meeting, but the racing looked second to none up there. You know, it looked really, really good. And
it's always good.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that you didn't actually manage to get into like a team manager's role there or something like that. Then at Redcar, or was that something you turned down?
Long story.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Long story. We won't go there.
No, okay, fair enough. No, but so a couple of other things I want to touch on before we finish for tonight, because obviously it's been great to talk to you again, Gary.
Sure.
You know? One of the things is also your last appearance basically for England. I think it was in 2004 when it was the World Cup at Poole, the final and things like that.
Denmark. Poole, yeah.
Poole.
When Hans Hansen robbed Lee Richardson's kids of another gold medal.
Yeah. It was. So how was that then? Was that a surprise call up for yourself then to come in the team?
Yes and no, really. Midler called me up before it all and sort of said, "Look, I think their qualifying round was at Eastbourne, wasn't it?"
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And he said, "Look, I'm not going to put you in at Eastbourne." I said, "Good." I said, "Fucking, you shouldn't put me in at Eastbourne." I said, "Someone like Screeney's going to be miles better around Eastbourne." And at the time, Screeney's bogey track was Poole. He wasn't here for Blaze.
Yeah.
He never had a good meeting around Poole. I don't think ever. So the talk was that we'd use Joe in the qualifying round, and then see how he felt. And Midler wanted to then use me in the final, so Joe sort of stepped aside, if you like. But it was all a plan beforehand, you know. Obviously, me riding at Poole for 5 years and being really good around there, you know. Midler wanted to have me in there in the final, and Screeney was cool with that, you know. Screeney was in the pits with us as an extra man, and that was brilliant time. Such a good time. We were so unlucky. We should have won that.
Yeah. It was also with the Hans Hansen incident, but also wasn't it Scott? He stopped because he thought he saw a red light as well in that meeting.
He see the camera, some bastard with a camera down the back straight.
Yeah, I remember that being. You know, I was watching it on TV that night, and you know, I thought we were odds on to win it that year, and we should have won it. You know, really should have won it.
Yeah, we should have. We should have definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember my third race in that. I had a right ding dong with a Polish reserve kid.
Rempala,
you know that Red Parlour. Well, if you look on the original poster of that on YouTube, it's got the most views of any Speedway video on YouTube. It's got something like 600,000 views. And do you know what? It wasn't even for first. It was for fucking second and third.
I know.
And I had, after that, I had a couple of older people say to me that they'd been going to Speedway for however many years, and then that was the best race I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, because that was a good race, because obviously, if anyone remembers it or hasn't seen it, it is one to watch. But Ren Parlow came underneath you more times than anyone else, like an express train. But you read it every time.
Yeah, well, what it was, I knew it was the Polish kid, and I knew he'd be absolutely just flat out at a Poole. Going down the straights at that speed, you can't keep it tight. You just miss the corner and go wide. So every time I was just, I'd hear him coming, and I'd just sort of let him just go and then turn back.
Yeah.
And he'd fly in, miss the corner, and I'd turn back past him. And then he'd come back down the straight and dive on me. I think I counted, because there was a couple of, I was first to start with, then Hans passed 2 people. And then I think there was I counted something like 18 or 20 passes in that race, individual passes.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, but it's a bloody good race to watch, because and it's brilliant.
If you haven't seen it, get on YouTube and watch it.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Because also it's yourself down behind the handlebars again, the old style of you racing. Yeah, you know, it's proper heavy racing. I like to think it was. Yeah, of course
it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better harder or faster than that.
No. You know? But because I think also I remember watching when they did the national anthem. Of course, you I think said to someone next to you, I can't remember who it was, but you know, he said, "Come fucking get it, you know, lads. Come on, we got it now." After the national anthem and that sort of thing, and they put that on TV. And if you could lip read, you can do exactly what you said.
Wow, wicked.
But it was
If you talk to Floppy when we were in the World Cup the year before in Denmark. You talk to Floppy, he says that I changed his entire life. Just by when I went up to him for the first race, he said, because I went up to him and Union Jack, and he said, Union Jack, come on! Yeah. And he said something in his head just went. And he had that really good meeting, and he had a good end of the season, and then the next year was when he had that fucking awesome season.
Yeah, he was.
And if you talk to him, I'm not being big headed at all, but he attributes everything of that to me. In Denmark at the World Cup the year before.
All right, well, that's interesting to know.
So that's like, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously...
Because Floppy always had the talent, didn't he? He always had the talent. He just never seemed to be able to put it all together. And then that year after that, he had about a 10-point average, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Because obviously then
remember that one season? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately for that season, he ended up on the injury list, didn't he? Because that's when he had that spectacular crash at Eastbourne against Swindon.
That's right, down the back straight.
Yeah, that with a broken leg, I think it was at the end. But yeah, and I mean that sort of thing is great to hear, because obviously all through your career, like we said earlier, you know, being
I love Floppy.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
I love Floppy. He's such a good guy. I speak to him still now occasionally, and we have such a similar sense of humour. He's so dry, and it's just so funny. It's
yeah, I know. But it's great that you managed to inspire someone as good as Dave Norris, you know, to improve himself, even though he was in that sort of area of his career. Where
I wasn't planning on it. I wasn't planning on intentionally inspiring him. It's just a thing that I did before he went out for his first race. So it just clicked in his head. Brilliant.
Well, that's all it needs. But I mean, switching gears again, just the last thing I want to talk about before we finish is your time at Masana in Sweden. Those few years you had there. Yeah. You know, I've heard in another podcast beforehand that you said it was your best time in Sweden. Obviously, riding with Tony Rickardson and people like that. And
yeah. Fantastic again, and that coincided with my what's called my resurgence. You know, sort of 98, end of 98, 99. 2000, 2001 was driving for Masana. Now I believe that in 1998 they were in the Swedish third division.
Yeah, I think so.
Running to about 45 fans, right? Then apparently they won that league, and then they decided to invest a bit of money and go up into the Polish second league. right? And then they won that, right? So they went all balls out. They thought they'll sign Tony because he's the local guy. That's where he's from. That's down there. And try and win the gold. And then it was in '99 when I was riding with Lee Richardson for Linköping in the Swedish Premier League. Each club in the Premier League had like a parent club in the Elite League. Yeah. And I didn't even know, and it was about halfway through the season I got a call from. I'd not even heard of Masana. I didn't even know who they were. Never mind who rode for them. And they were like, "Oh yeah, because we're your parent club, you can ride for us if you want. We want you to ride for us." Blah blah blah. So I went up, did a few meetings towards the end of the season for them, and then I think we come second in '99, but in 2000 we won the gold. Yeah. Right. So we got to the final and won it. Right. So imagine, I think in about 97 or 98, they were running to 45 fans. In September 2000, our home leg of the final was 12,500 people in the Sound Stadium.
Yeah. That's a huge difference.
Mind blowing. And then after that, after the meeting, we went on like an open top bus tour of the town. And I think every single person who wasn't at the stadium was out in the streets waving us and cheering, and it was unbelievable. It was like being a footballer. It was fantastic, and I've got a lot of good friends in Sweden still. I still speak to Tony regularly, and I have a lot of time for the Swedes. On the whole, they're decent people.
Was Masana then just a speedway town then, or did it have any other sports in the town? Well,
no, it's weird because each club in Sweden has a different name from the town. So the town is called Avesta.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's just a little town about an hour and a half northwest of Stockholm.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And it's just a little town, little town in the middle of nowhere. And I think that's why it became so popular, because it was a little town in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, they were in the Elite League, Speedway. Yeah. And Tony Ricardson, the local hero, had signed for them, and things were looking up. And we would get regularly 6,000-7,000 people just for a league match, 5,000, 6,000. It was nuts.
Yeah, crazy.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed my time over there. Yeah. Really did. The club was great. They looked after me and made a lot of friends.
Were you there when Antonio Lindback was breaking through then, and people like that then?
Absolutely, yeah. I remember Antonio Lindback's first meeting as clear as day, because he stuck Thomas Gollum in the fence, and he ended up in about row 7 in a stand. And for about the next 3 or 4 years, every time, whichever club he was riding for, every time they were at Avesta at our track, he would be injured or ill.
Okay.
Antonio proper nailed him.
Running scared.
Yeah, so I was with him. I rode. I rode with the Czech lad who died of a brain tumor. Tony
Kasper. Yeah, Tony Kasper.
Anton Kasper. Yeah. Lee Adams, Tony, obviously. Great times, really good times.
Yeah, because one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I spent a bit of time in Sweden a couple of years ago with Ross Begana, and helped out a few Swedish kids there, and things like that. Yep. And it's really a nice country. Yeah, the roast pigs. Yes.
It is. It's a great country. I love it. I love it. It's so clean, so tidy. Everyone's the Swedes are strange, aren't they? To me, you only get 2 stages with the Swedes. Yeah. You're either sober and really, really conservative, or absolutely twatted, pissed drunk, and then they become like menaces to society. Yeah,
I would agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's nice to finish on a positive note with your success at Masana. Yeah. But we must wrap this up, Gary. I mean, it's been great to have you on for this part 2 of the chat.
No problem, man. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, and hopefully
I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope all
mate,
get to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, loved it. You never know. Might get a call from me saying, "Come back again. We might do something else." So you never know. But,
you never know, Neil. You never know.
No, but
I'll have to recover from this one first.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything you want to say to anyone out there before we sign off? No. Okay, fair enough.
just peace and love to everybody, and have a good peace and love to everybody, and all have a good Christmas, and everybody stay safe.
You heard it
Peace.
here. Yeah, hear it from the man himself who knows stuff. You know. All right, Gary. Thanks for your time, mate. Much appreciated. Take care.
I know. Hey, no problem.